Okay, so in this video we're going to start our 2-point demonstration of the small downtown area. And just as a quick announcement, sort of, I am videoing this at school, so if there is an interruption, bell ringer, or bell rings, something, just don't worry about it. Okay, so when we're starting our 2-point drawing, we got to start with our horizon line. This is probably going to be your only horizontal line in the whole drawing. Give yourself some space on top and bottom. You want it somewhere in the middle. And since this is 2-point, we're going to have 2 vanishing points, one on each side of the horizon line, so end and end. To start, we're going to line our ruler up with the leftmost vanishing point. Going to draw a road coming from there. So you don't want to do the whole line dark because you're going to erase part of these lines. Maybe do it lightly. My ruler moved that time, so I got to redraw that line. Okay, that's better. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to add 2 more lines on either side of both of these lines for our sidewalks. Moved again. Gotta make sure you've got a good hold on that ruler, otherwise it'll slide. Okay, so I've got one street with sidewalks on it. I think I need to actually bring this one down a little bit more. You want to make sure the sidewalk that's closer to you is a little bit larger than the sidewalk that's farther away. So this one's the one that's farther away. This one needs to be a little bit bigger. Okay, now we're going to line up our ruler with this vanishing point. We're going to draw another road coming from the opposite direction. This one you want to have a steeper angle. You don't want to have as slight an angle as that first road. So this is a steeper angle. Okay, I think that's about right. All right, and I'm going to draw 2 more lines on either side for our sidewalks. Now we have our intersecting roads. We're going to start with our buildings. So we're going to start by lining up our ruler vertically with this intersection here. All right, so there's my first line, and when we did our basic 2-point demonstration, that's in another video if you haven't seen that, you got to line up that vertical line to both vanishing points at the top and bottom. So it's already lined up at the bottom, which means it's got to be lined up to both at the top. Now we have to end these walls, because right now this building's going on forever. We got to end the walls of the building, draw 2 more vertical lines. Okay, then erase those extra lines you don't need, as well as the horizon line as it cuts through your building. You can't see through your building, it is an opaque object, so you shouldn't be able to see the horizon line through it. Alright, so our next step is to figure out how tall our floors are going to be. So I've got about 3 inches to work with. I think I'm going to make half-inch floors, maybe 3/4 inch floors. Let's see if 3/4 will work. Yep, 3/4 works. Okay. So I've got my marks here. I just put marks equally distant along this vertical line here, and I'm going to line them up to both vanishing points. The trick with 2-point perspective, all lines that would be horizontal, if you stood and faced them, are going to go to vanishing points. So floor lines, ceiling lines, tops and bottoms of windows, that kind of thing. All right, now all of these lines are lined up to this vanishing point because they are parallel to this line, and all parallel lines go to the same place, okay? So these lines are parallel to these lines, they go here. The lines on this side are gonna be parallel to this road, they go here. Okay. Now our first building has its floors. We're going to measure all of our other buildings in relation to this building. So our next building needs to be at least 1 floor taller. I might be able to make mine 2 floors taller, so I might do that. Okay, so I'm going to make mine 2 floors taller. I'm going to draw a line from this top line here lightly. Okay, so this is going to be the top of my next building. Now it's going to go over here, but I don't want the vertical line of this building to touch this one. I want there to be some space between them. So I'm going to make sure that that is vertical. Then draw a line from this sidewalk line that this one is on to that top line up here. Okay. Now erase that extra bit of line, you don't need that. Okay. Now again, when you start a new object, you start with your vertical line. The top and bottom of that vertical line have to be connected to both vanishing points. It's already connected the bottom and the top to the left vanishing point, but it needs to be connected to both at the right. So I lined up the bottom of that vertical line to the right vanishing point, but I didn't draw past here. So now I've got a little bit of an alley there. So that might be a little bit big. I'm gonna cut it off a little bit here, adding a vertical line. There we go. Yeah, maybe a little farther. Okay, remember objects get smaller, so I want to make sure that this actually made sense with this side here. Okay, so now I've got to add another vertical line to this side so I can finish out the edge of this building. And then I've got to do the floors. So I've got to line up again with all of these points to get the floors done here. So I've already got this floor and of course the top and bottom done. So now I've got to line up to the rest of the floors to this vanishing point over here. Because again, we're using the measurements from this building to relate to all of the other buildings, just to make sure everything is the same height. Oh, we forgot to erase our horizon lines. Go ahead and do that. Unless you're using it as a floor divider. If it's a floor, then don't worry about it. Mine is not. Okay, so now that I have all of my floors on here, I'm just going to erase the lines that I don't need outside of my building, which would be these two here. And then I'm going to connect all of these points. Oops, erase this one too. Don't need that one. So erase that line here. I forgot to do that. Then you're going to connect all of these points along this vertical line here to the right vanishing point, because you got to draw the floor lines on this side, which would be parallel to this road. And that building is done. Now we're going to draw a building over here. So starting from this point, this intersection of this triangle here, it's going to be a floor smaller than this one. So start by lining up your ruler vertically with this corner all the way over here. You're going to draw a line, draw it lightly because we don't know how much of it we're going to actually keep. All right, then you're going to line your ruler up with this point here and this vanishing point. You're lining it up with this vanishing point because this side of this building is parallel to this road. So because all these lines go here, that top line will go there too. Now, again, I'm making it a floor smaller. Has to be one of the floors above your horizon line. You don't want it below your horizon line just yet. Okay, so that's how tall this building's going to be. Notice that this building actually looks larger than this one. It's drawn larger, but that's only because it's closer to the viewer. All right, and then you're going to line up the rest of your floors. Well, no, before that, erase all these extra lines. You don't need any of these extra lines. Leave the vanishing point. You're going to need the vanishing point. Definitely can keep that. Okay, once you have those lines erased, go ahead, line up the floors of your first building to draw the floors for this third building here. Okay, now we have one more building that we're going to draw, and it's going to go down here. This building has to be short. We want it below the horizon line so you can see the ceiling or the roof of it. So what we're going to do, draw a vertical line up from this corner here. All of these buildings are on these sidewalks. So draw a vertical line up. It's not going to go higher than the horizon line. It's got to be below the horizon line. So again, I don't know how high mine's going to be, so I drew it relatively lightly. Line up one of your floors. If you have multiple floors beneath your horizon line, then pick which one you want to use. I'm using this one because this one's too close to my horizon line. Also, I'm lining it up with the right vanishing point because this side of this building is on this road, which goes here. It's parallel. Okay, now I know this is the side of my building. I'm going to erase this line here since I don't need that anymore. Now I have to connect this vertical line, since again, you're connecting when you're drawing a new object in linear perspective, a 2-point perspective, and you draw a vertical line, the top and bottom of that vertical line has to be connected to both vanishing points. It's connected at the bottom to both because of this line and this line, and it's connected to the right one at the top because of this one. So now we have to connect at the top to that one. Now I drew it relatively lightly, again, not sure how much of it I'm keeping. Then you're going to line up with the right vanishing point again, since this line is perpendicular to this one and parallel to that one. So as you can probably tell, we've got two sets of parallel lines here, which means one set is perpendicular to the other set. Perpendicular lines do not go to the same place, only parallel lines do. All right. This is your final building. Now all we have to do is start adding details to our buildings. Make sure you erase those sidewalk lines as they cut through this fourth building. Okay, and then tune in to part 2 for the next piece of this demonstration. Thanks for watching.